Have you ever heard of Indonesian migrant workers? And have you ever read the news about factory workers? Or have you ever seen an employee in the office? Yeah, it is all we can always find in life, especially in the social aspect of Indonesian society. Do you know that this activity clearly describes the practice of Marxism in its life? Then, who sparked this Marxism? The pioneer of the theory of Marxism is Karl Marx, a philosopher, economic, sociologist, and political activist. He born in Germany on May 5, 1818. Coming from a middle-class family, he studied at Bonn University and Berlin University. He awarded as a doctor of philosophy at 23 years old. And then he became a journalist and writer. His book include The Manifesto of the Communist Party, 1848, and Capital Critique of the Political Economy in 1857. According to him, Marxism is a scientific theory that deals with human society, oriented to the existence of the class-level parity in this society. This theory discusses the differences in levels of economic classes. Generally, Marxist criticism is the understanding of history of a certain society, the effect of class, power relation, and social rules. The consciousness of man plays no role in the determination of human existence. It is their social position that determines their consciousness. Therefore, there was always a struggle in the relationship between the capitalist and the proletarian. Thus, first Marx called it as the economic structure of society. From this base, a superstructure rises. It is a certain form of law and politics, a certain kind of state whose essential function is to legitimate the power of the social class with all the means of economic production. The essence of the theory is to want the freedom to be as free as possible for the proletariat in order to become a whole person. Marxism is more inclined to understand people's behavior, especially with regard to the politics, economic, culture, and history. Marxism grows as a collection of thought that live in real political reality. Marx assumed that the primary motivation for human life is economy. The humans are basically materialistic and concerned about their own life, so that other aspects such as a sociopolitic are under economic importance. The economy is a place of exploitation. The owner of capital and the means of production occupy the most profitable and influential position in the company, or in the economy aspect. They are called capitalists, which indirectly oppress the proletariat or worker. The workers are the ones who are used by capitalists to generate profits for them as the party controlling the economy. A case that can be related to the perspective of Marxism is the bilateral relationship between Indonesia and Malaysia, where exploitation and violence occur to Indonesian migrant workers, or TKI, who work in Malaysia. In the view of Marxism, the problem of TKI violence in bilateral relation does not emphasize the state but tends to the class conflict, namely where the bourgeoisie is represented by the employer and the proletariat is represented by the TKI. This is what causes the violence of TKI in Malaysia, because the power factor possessed by the bourgeois as the owner of capital causes that exploitation of the proletariat. Moreover, this Marxism theory is also related to the Frankfurt School, the fancy state of Nazi Germany, Soviet Marxism, totalitarianism, and American monopoly. Consumer capitalism were crucial feature of context in which the Frankfurt School's analysis. Consumer capitalism were a crucial feature of the context in which the Frankfurt School's analysis of popular culture and the mass media emerged and developed. The school's understanding of popular culture relies upon its theory of modern capitalism and the control it sees the culture industry exerting over the minds and action of people. The Frankfurt School sees that the culture industry ensuring the creation and satisfaction of false needs and the suppression of true needs. It is so effective in doing it that the working class is no longer likely to pose a threat to the stability and continuity of capitalism. The practice of Marxism and its relationship with the Frankfurt culture industry in Indonesia illustrated by the presence of workers and factory workers who work in factories which are actually owned by foreign companies, like the PT Exxon Mobil East Java oil mining of very simple. For example, at the PT Exxon Mobil East Java. In fact, the majority of local Indonesian workers are positioned as low-cost employees, such as a cook and food, or such as a chef, security, and sweepers who watch the direction of the wind. Just it. Which basically only use physical strength without the opportunity to occupy the technician of engineering position in a company that is actually occupied by foreign workers. The practice of exploitation nature and human resources in this case is very visible, coupled with the fact and also with the fact that the level of state profit and environmental welfare around the company is very, very low. Furthermore, the practice of Marxism and Frankfurt School is also very clearly reflected. Furthermore, the practice of Marxism is also very clearly reflected in the workforce working in companies in various lines of life. The employee, who is always required to contribute to the company, is indirectly positioned as a low class or worker class, which is pursued by the existence of target and commercial profit for the company that oversaw him. Even if seen from the salary rates obtained, it is not uncommon for this to be very disproportionate. Even if seen from the salary rates obtained, it is not uncommon for this to be very disproportionate to pressure he felt. So, that's all about the example of the practices Marxism.